Donald Trump is having a terrible Tuesday morning as his own chief of staff, Susie Wiles, seems to have turned against him in an interview with Vanity Fair. In a two-part article that was just published by Vanity Fair, which conducted 11 interviews with Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, she offered this pungent assessment of Donald Trump and his team. She said that Donald Trump has an alcoholic's personality, that J.D. Vance has been a conspiracy theorist for a decade, and his conversion from a Trump critic to a Trump ally was not based on principle, but was sort of political because he was running for Senate. She says that Elon Musk is an avowed ketamine user and an odd duck whose actions were not always rational and left her aghast. She says Russell Vought, the author of Project 2025, who now runs Donald Trump's Office of Management and Budget, she calls him a right-wing absolute zealot. And she says Attorney General Pam Bondi completely whiffed in handling the Epstein files. And Susie Wiles goes into the Epstein files and says, yep, Donald Trump is all over them. Let me tell you what she said. But first, a reminder, make sure you hit subscribe to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. As you know, we are leading all independent media and we are under attack from the Trump regime and from state regime media known as Fox. You may think you're subscribed. Just double check and hit subscribe to this YouTube channel right now and help us hit 6 million subscribers. So here's what Susie Wiles told the author of this incredible article. She said the following: Wiles told me she read what she calls the Epstein file, and she said, Trump is in the file. And we know he's in the file. She says it's not doing anything awful. She goes, but he was on Epstein's plane. He's on the manifest. They were sort of young, single, whatever. I know it's passé word, but sort of young, single playboys together. She goes on to talk about how Bill Clinton, these allegations about Bill Clinton going to the island 28 times. She goes, there's zero evidence that Bill Clinton ever went to Little St. James, the island. And she says that Donald Trump was wrong about that and wrong about his accusations about Bill Clinton right there. She goes on to talk about with respect to Donald Trump's claims that he'll run for a third term. She goes, no, he has fun with it and he likes to drive people crazy. That's why he talks about it. Yeah, 100%. Would you say categorically no and the 22nd Amendment rules out a third term? I do, yeah. And I'm not a lawyer, but based on my reading, it's pretty unequivocal. And has he told you in so many words? Yeah, a couple of times. She then says the following as well. This is what the author says, during my first visit with Wiles at the White House in November, Trump's revenge tour against his domestic enemies was in full swing. So was his lethal campaign against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who Trump was convinced headed a powerful drug cartel. Over lunch, Wiles told me about Trump's Venezuela strategy. He wants to keep on blowing up boats until Maduro cries uncle. And people way smarter than me on that say that he will. Wiles' statement appears to contradict the administration's official stance that blowing up boats is about drug interdiction, not about regime change. So she basically admits that it is regime change. Now, one of the other important things is that, so New York Times spoke with the author from Vanity Fair of this article, and they said, well, Susie Wiles denies saying these things. And then the author says, well, here's the tape. I'll play it for you. And here she is saying it on tape right there. By the way, you got to love the photos that Vanity Fair took of Caroline Leavitt, of Susie Wiles, of J.D. Vance, and others. Now, after this article was published, meticulously sourced, with Susie Wiles also on tape, she complained about it. She said, this was a hit piece. They took me out of context, but there it is, Susie Wiles. We know how you really feel. Let's talk about how the American people are feeling. Just as Susie Wiles seems to hate the regime with which she works for, but perpetuates their evil agenda and their harmful agenda, the American people are feeling pain, let's face it. Very serious times. We got more jobs numbers this morning, and we learned that the U.S. economy is officially in a hiring recession. As economist Heather Long explains, Almost no jobs have been added since April. Wage gains are slowing. 710,000 more people are unemployed now versus November 2024. And while in November, there was a 64,000 job gain, although I think that will eventually be revised down as we've seen before, October's numbers, which we just got, had 105,000 job losses. Okay, and Heather Long says, I believe it's a combination of tariff impacts, AI, and cost cutting. Americans are feeling it. Take a look at this graph, and you'll see that the U.S. economy has barely added any jobs at all since April. What was April? It's when Donald Trump was announcing Liquidation Day. He called it Liberation Day. You can directly trace it to there as well. Just take a look at this graph. Unemployment has now ticked up to 4.6%. As I predicted many months ago, this would be heading over 5% soon. And the trends are certainly, unfortunately, heading in that direction. You take a look at youth unemployment. Youth unemployment right now is at a cycle high of 10.6% unemployment amongst young people. You take a look at manufacturing payrolls, decline, negative 5,000 in November, the 7th consecutive monthly decline of manufacturing job losses. Private payrolls in general, excluding education and health services, which are the two areas now under attack by MAGA Republicans, have all been negative on average. The only area that's helped private payrolls is education and healthcare services, what Trump's actually attacking. Otherwise, negative job growth, so it's job losses, and we're talking about significant job losses there. We're talking, just take a look at this chart. The unemployment rose to 4.6%. This is a undisputed. This chart right here just shows the pattern of where this is going. Also, electric bills going up. Electric bills expected to reach $17 billion in the aggregate, marking the third consecutive year of record-breaking costs as the swift build-out of data centers is adding billions of dollars to household utilities. And now we have farmers demanding additional bailouts. I think they're not the ones who want it. Let me be very clear. Their Republican senators are trying to say they need more bailouts or they're going to go bankrupt. Montana Senator Steve Daines said the $12 billion assistance package bailout is a good start, but it's not enough. Another bailout is needed because more farmers will be going bankrupt. Now, you had J.D. Vance this morning. While all of that's going on, he's in Allentown, Pennsylvania, as Governor Shapiro, governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, says J.D. Vance is heading to Allentown this morning to try to convince Pennsylvanians that the rising prices, healthcare cuts, and chaotic trade wars hurting our farmers are just made up. I talk to Pennsylvanians every single day. We're smarter than J.D. Vance gives us credit for. So let's see J.D. Vance speaking this morning. How smart does he give the people credit for being in Pennsylvania? He's asked by a reporter, Donald Trump has given the economy right now a grade of A+++++. What would you grade it, J.D. Vance? Here, play this clip.
President Trump last week gave his economy a grade of A+++++. What grade would you give the economy today?
A+++.
Then J.D. Vance, speaking on affordability, says nobody ever said we would fix this in a single day. Here, play this clip.
You know, I hear these Democrats talk about this as if you were going to fix these problems in a single day. It reminds me of probably the third day in the Oval Office where eggs had gotten so expensive under the Biden administration.
Well, actually, that was what Donald Trump ran on. We have the receipts. Donald Trump said, when I win, I will immediately bring down the prices starting on day one. We're a year in, JD, and the economy is way worse and things are far less affordable. Just so you all see, this is what Donald Trump was campaigning on. I can show you hundreds of more clips like this, but I'll just show you this one right here. Play this clip.
So when I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one. We will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill.
But folks, J.D. Vance wants you to know There's no person that's more impatient to solve affordability than Donald Trump. There's just nothing he can do about it. He can't control this. This is what J.D. Vance says in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Listen to it yourself. Play this clip.
Consequences that it's caused for so many of our great families all across Pennsylvania. And I promise you, there is no person more impatient to solve the affordability crisis than Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States.
And folks, even state regime media known as Fox recognizes this is bad. Here is what they're saying on state regime media. Let's play it.
Things. We had a government shutdown. We had the Doge. So the numbers are distorted because of that. But at the end of the day, we need to create more jobs, and we're not. The industries that are creating jobs, like healthcare, are actually creating lower paying jobs because they can't sort of find doctors overnight. They can't find skilled nurses overnight. And they're sort of flooding the system with sort of lesser skilled helpers. And those are lower wages. So I think there's a lot of cracks in the labor market.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you all think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. And thank you for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.